My name is Currie Jr., by the way, if you didn't know. Probably don't. I do realise I'm talking to a computer screen here, not an audience, but there are ulterior motives for this, which I'm not willing to discuss. Because I can't be bothered. And I also realise that my style seems rather boring right now. It remain that way. But I'm going to explain why it's especially boring with what I'm doing here. So hopefully the idiots have gauged my boring nature already and have duly switched off, thereby leaving you, my targeted, educated type listeners, listening, you know, to see where I'm going with this. This is improvised, by the way. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I did no rehearsal or anything. Although I do have this, which I'll read before I go on to talk about Osama Bin Laden and Stewart Lee. It's a scribble I've done of my Facebook description, which I'll read now. It's a description people make of their lives. A very breaking teenage voice. Stewart Lee, you might find that later, funny later in this performance. But anyway, yeah, so it's that description you see people make of their lives that's up on the page, which you can see. If you can be fucked, can't be fucked to get timeline, which I can't. Works as secret double agent at MI5. Studies politically motivated fundamentalist murder-suicide at Al-Qaeda training camp. Lives in Islamabad, Pakistan. From Kingston, Jamaica. Born on 14th August 1990. But that one was factual, not a joke, admittedly. In a relationship with Osama Bin Laden. I should amend that now, shouldn't I? Considering he's dead and all. Or apparently he is. You never know with the news, do you? Annoying dog. But remember, and the extraordinary outburst of mass celebration from Americans on the streets after he was killed. Yay! We killed a person. Seems odd, doesn't it? The mass celebration of a united act of mass murder. I myself was never a big fan of Osama Bin Laden, and I'm sorry to tell all of you Bin Laden fans out there that I wasn't, but you know, he never really did it for me. He was alright, but take him or leave him, really. He's a bit like Marmite, isn't he? Now Stewart Lee. He apparently attended a gig I had back in my earlier days of performing comedy. He then subsequently wrote a journalistic piece about how he was annoyed that all these young comedians innocently trying to make it are copying his style. Now I can't quote it myself, as he always does, doesn't he? Because I can't even bother to print it off like he does. But as there was no other young comedian who was sort of, you know, influenced by his style, in my perception, admittedly, I assume he was indirectly having a right jab at me with a long-winded article. I mean, no one even seems to know the man, so how would they copy his style? You know, that takes telepathy to copy the style of a struggling comedian. Now, Stu, you must have seen what I've done so far, and I hope you're not offended. I know you're not. And where I'm going with this by now. And I know you do, Stu. Don't you, Stu? 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 But I should say that I'm shocked no other comedian has ever had a crack at you, despite being annoyed at everything and publicly criticising and insulting every comedian who isn't you on the planet. Well, I kind of sort of do understand it, why they don't give anything back, because they would probably be owned. I mean, you're a charitable, rather intelligent, witty man who must be difficult to criticise in any justifiable manner, so they won't. But I will. And I have. I'll continue. Now, I see what you mean in that article. I read it. I am very influenced by your work. This isn't a joke. I follow everything you do, essentially. But I like to think that I've taken your style and simply improvised it so that it's more marketable to, my age group. But what I've done here is I've adjusted my style slightly in order to be more like you, so it pisses you off even more. In fact, I hope that annoyance pisses you off so much that you get terrible stress from it and consequently die of a heart attack. And then that heart attack somehow causes your head to be decapitated, roll off at a high speed into a vat of acid, boiling acid, and then there is just enough sentience left in your spirit to go, that burns, and then die. Cunt. And yes, someone who works as a cunt. I'm only playing with you.